Hi, everybody. I'm here with Eric Kimani. How are you, Eric?
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning for you, afternoon for me, man. You are in Australia, yes?
Yes, I am.
And I'm in a place called Canada. I don't know if you know where Canada is, but it's the opposite of Australia.
The world is a big place.
I know. You're down south, I'm up north. I think we're in
Yes,
different
yes,
hemispheres.
yes.
We're together here in the Rotary world. And I wanted to interview you a bit because when we met at the Rotary Leadership Institute in Evanston a few months ago, I got a chance to hear you speak. I think you're a fantastic speaker. And you talked to us about something that rather remarkable that you did in your part of the world in Nairobi. You started a new Rotary Club, yeah?
Yes.
And we're going to find out all about that here in the next few minutes. But the upshot of it is, for those of you watching today or listening, that Eric eventually left his own club to join this new club. And the new club consists of members who are much younger than you, Eric, by 20, 30 years in some cases.
Well, let's say I'm the oldest man, and I don't.
Most of the members are 50 years younger than Eric.
Oh, 50 is too much, but yes, I am. Some of them are 28 and thereabout.
Let's rewind the clock. How long have you been in Rotary since the beginning?
It's been now almost 31 years. I joined Rotary in 1989, courtesy of my immediate boss in the office, and I've never looked back those 31 years.
And what do you do for work, sir?
Sorry?
What do you do for a living?
Sometimes I wonder when I know what I do, Michael, but yes, I run a milk processing plant with my wife, a family business, where we buy milk from about 500 smallholders, and we bulk it, we process it, we package it, and we retail the milk. That's our principal business. But in Africa, there is nobody who does one business.
Yeah.
We do many businesses, and out of that, beyond that, I think I spend more time on Rotary and other philanthropic things, more than I spend on the commercial aspect of my life.
That's an interesting thing that you just said, that in Africa, nobody runs just one business. Why do you say that?
You know, there is no social protection or what you call, like in the US or in other developed countries, if you're not working, you get, you can live. In Africa, you can't. So everybody tries everything. And when I was working, I used to be a CEO of 2 public companies before. And that's when I started my side hustle with my wife. And now it's been 24 years. So it's very common in Africa to do that.
Yeah, I ask because of the underlying theme, of course, that if you have to run at least 2 businesses to be successful in Africa, I imagine you learn things like resiliency and flexibility and resourcefulness and come from behind kind of an attitude, problem solving, all these great virtues that we look for in Rotary. And I'm just guessing ahead. We haven't talked about this in detail, but I think these themes are going to reemerge later in our conversation. So you're happily engaged in Rotary. You're in 1 club, maybe 2 clubs for that long period of time, 28, 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happened. Was there a seminal moment? Was there why did you get interested in starting a new club?
I think one of the reasons that I did this, my Rotary Club, my first Rotary Club, I stayed there for almost 25 years. The Rotary Club of Nairobi North. And it was the first Rotary Club to produce, in quotes, a black governor, Rotary governor. I was the first black African governor in my country to become a Rotary governor in almost 80 years. Wow. So immediately after, about 2 years later, another governor came from my club. And clubs that have past district governors have this tendency of members looking at past district governors as the problem solvers. And I was beginning to see my club as looking at me to answer every question and to provide guidance. And that is not bad, but on the other hand, it makes a club, past governors are very knowledgeable. And you are ahead of when you start talking about stuff and people stop thinking and they leave you to think.
Yes, yes.
I was feeling that I'm not growing, the club itself was not growing, and bringing 1 or 2 members was not working. And again, it was about 30 minutes away from my home. Every Wednesday I had to drive, and I was beginning to find, what if there was a club near me where I can take 5-10 minutes, and where there is more energy, where I can infuse more energy. And I sat back with one of my fellow members in that club, who is still in that club. We agreed that I would orchestrate her becoming the governor's representative, and would set up a new club near my neighborhood. And we went for it. That was about 6 years ago. In fact, last night they were installing their 6th president, and happily I couldn't be there. And we started it, and because it's a neighborhood club, it took off well. We meet at 6 p.m. Up to 6:30 for fellowship. Then for the main meeting, 6:30 to 7:30. Families can go out for dinner if they wish after that. And it became quite a successful club. And right now we have a very vibrant club of about 35 people.
35.
And growing, yeah.
So let me ask you something. I think one of the challenges of new club building is that nobody actually owns the process. People who are struggling to maintain their own clubs are reluctant to divide their energy. I think a district governor wants to start new clubs, but he can't get any help for the aforementioned reason. There are people who are ascending the Rotary leadership ladder in their own club. They don't want to detract away from that. How did your club feel when you announced that you would be leaving them? I bet it wasn't universally received.
I could sense the disappointment, but I think now when they look back, they can see. And I think it's a model that has been adopted now by a couple of clubs in my country, where seasoned Rotarians are leaving their clubs and going on to form very attractive and very vibrant clubs, because it is easier by far to form a new club than to try and bring in new members in another club. That's a conclusion I've reached by just seeing what has happened.
I think it's absolutely true. You know, both you and I do a lot of writing. I know you're a published author, as I am. And I have an old saying that a lot of times it's easier to start from scratch, a fresh sheet of paper, than it is to edit something that's already been written. So trying to resuscitate a club that is tired or has run out of energy or is in some sort of stasis can be very challenging.
You wouldn't believe what has happened to my old club, Michael. It has changed completely from an average age of maybe 60, 50, 60,
yeah,
to now about an average age of 30. In other words, our Rotaractors who used to be our Rotaractors have come and raided our old club and rejuvenated it.
So this is since you started the new club, your old club has now become rejuvenated.
Completely.
Yeah.
By younger people.
Yeah. So I think, and of course it's hard to find data to back this up, but if and we're speaking now to people who are watching this video from all over the world, yes. Rotarians from all over the world learning about how to start new clubs, is that if you have what can be called a folksy club, do you have that word in Africa, folksy?
Mm-hmm. I get what you mean.
If you have a folksy club, it's going to be really hard to bring professionals into that club, business professionals. If you have a club that's mostly retirees, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be hard to bring in young professionals
Yes.
because it's just too disparate. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your club. It's just that it's going to be hard to create both environments in the same club setting. And that's one of the biggest arguments we have for starting new clubs, that if a town of a good sized population is a folksy environment, why maybe we need a different value proposition, a different day, a different time, and a different demographic maybe, or a different sensibility, right?
I agree entirely. And the thing is, you need the older retirees, the seasoned Rotarians to hold the hand of the new clubs. Because again, new clubs fail as often as they are formed because they don't know what is Rotary, and it's not easy. You need, like in my club, we ended up again having 2 or 3 of my own members and 2 other members join the club and help mentor them through the process of Rotary, because Rotary is a lifestyle. People must learn how it works, and therefore it takes courage to move, because then you'll be criticized. You are running away from a problem, maybe because the other club is not growing.
Yeah.
And yeah, but at the end of the day, it works.
Well, I think for an organization that values the truth, you know, the 4-way test, is it the truth? Sometimes we have trouble with the truth. Our club hasn't been growing for a number of years. We've tried a bunch of stuff. There are members in the club that don't seem that they want the club to grow. And therefore, I, Eric Kimani, I'm going to step away to start another club because I believe in Rotary growth, and that's my truth. And if you're unhappy with my truth, I'm sorry for that, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good idea.
Precisely.
And you're saying that this is happening more and more around the world as we start to understand. And here's why this is powerful, everybody. When you only grow your club by 1 or 2 members a year, it's an incremental, it's almost like a flat line, right? It's not enough growth to do us any good for the general population. But when you're growing your Rotary 20 and 30 and 40 members at a time, now that's a headline.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's where the secret lies. And last night, I missed it, but last night my club was inducting the largest number of joiners, 8 new members. And
oh, wow.
It's impossible to find a club growing with 8 members, new members every year, or even 4 or 5. But here you can attract a group.
That's almost a 20% increase of the current membership.
Yes, it is big. We've worked very hard, and we've been very lucky this year. I had a bit of time to devote in mentoring the newcomers, and we've got. I try, when I bring people to Rotary, I try and give them time. Sometimes invite them to my home. My wife is a Rotarian in another club, so she understands. We call a couple or 2 or 3 people, 3 prospect Rotarians. And if we call 5 and 3 join, and it's not necessarily my club, we love building Rotary.
Yeah. When you have people over your house, do you serve milk?
We serve yogurt. We make very good yogurt. Our yogurt is natural.
I bet it is.
Yes,
your new club, this success story, is called the Nairobi Muthaiga North Club, correct?
Yes, it is.
And you have a Facebook page? You have a place that we can find you online?
Yes, we have a website.
Okay. So it's easily searched,
Facebook.
I suppose,
on
on the internet, everybody, if you want to check it out. And friend Eric on Facebook, he'd love to hear from you. His last name is spelled Kimani, correct, Eric?
Yes, that is correct.
And Eric is ERIC. He's a great person. He's a great speaker. You're going to be hearing more from Eric Kimani. He's a Rotary leader. And before we go, I wanted to talk a little bit more about why you think that Rotarians are reluctant to start new clubs. I think there are hundreds and thousands of Rotarians that may, take that look at their club and say, yes, we're not growing. We should really do something about this. But you mentioned the word courage earlier. Why is it that so few of us have the courage to step away and do the right thing and set up another alternative for people that want to join Rotary?
I think, Michael, it's the bigger reason is that it takes a lot of time. You have to invest a lot of time. You have to. It's sometimes can be frustrating. Like in the old clubs, you still find that perhaps attendance is not working, and this will be your baby. If it doesn't work, you'll be blamed for it. Uh, I think the problem is that we haven't realized, as I said, we haven't realized how successful that model can be, uh, um, particularly as older people, because it gives me great joy when people say, Eric helped form this club and, he's our mentor, blah, blah, blah. But the problem we don't do it, I think it takes resources, not necessarily money, but more time and an investment, and you don't want to get frustrated. It gets frustrating sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it reaches a tipping point where it works.
Yeah. Another thing that we have in common, we're both past district governors. I have also had a fantastic experience with new club building. When I was governor in 2016-17 in District 6380, which is part in Michigan and part in Western Ontario, we chartered a new club. It was the first new club in the district in some years. And I think the number of members that they chartered with was something like 68 members. It instantly became the 7th largest club in the district. And it was mostly African American.
Yes, I have a commitment to build my club to those levels of bigger numbers. And sharing about being a past district governor, in my year as governor, I chartered 21 new clubs. And to this day, only one has gone under. And
wow.
I really pray that we can resuscitate it.
Wow. Yeah. So you're an old hand at this new club thing. You just happen to have some personal elbow grease in the Nairobi Muthaiga North Club.
But I think the secret, Michael, lies in using people. There is no way Eric Kimani can do it. My secret lies in infusing energy in others, because although people credit me with this, the real work was done by my friends, by my fellow Rotarians. In my year as governor, my team was fired up and I fired them. There is no way I could set up 21 clubs in countries spread over, the size of almost the US. But it is using people, learning how to work with people and influencing them to think like you and to deliver.
Yeah, I agree. One way to think of it is if the governor has the vision, as an example, if there's a champion working with the governor, like in my case, it was a Rotarian by the name of Jim Gilmore, another PDG, and Jim helped create the Southfield Area Club more than anybody. I think he had his imprint on it. And I think you're exactly right. If there's somebody and in the district that's laying the groundwork for this, if there's a champion that can spend the time with the club, there's got to be an internal champion for the new club. For example, the first president, the inaugural president, is often the champion.
Yeah.
And all these people work together, right?
Precisely. And our job as leaders is to infuse energy and make them believe in what you're doing and what is being done, and give them the credit and let them shine.
Yes.
Before you know it, it's done.
Yes. And then kind of like ipso facto, after the club is formed, it's up to guys like us, everybody really, to talk about these great success stories, to talk about the courage of a gentleman from Africa who left his long-standing club and started a new club, not only not just a similar club, but a club with younger Rotarians, and become an example for the rest of the world. I'm proud to know you, Eric, and just I'm sure we're going to be doing some things together down the road. I don't know what they are at this point, but I really appreciate you being with me today.
I look forward, Michael, and anything we can do to Rotary is a great lifestyle, and I wish it on many people. I've just inducted my daughter this week into Rotary here in Melbourne, Australia.
Well done.
Just that I walk the talk.
Well done, you sure do. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video in Facebook, for example, in the Let's Get the Word Out Rotary Facebook page, you can tag people down below in comments, people that you think might have the courage or the wherewithal or the truth in their heart about what it takes to start a new Rotary Club. And that way we can support them and make it happen, and then we'll brag about their success stories. Eric, thank you for all you do for our great organization.
Thank you, Michael, for the support, and it's nice knowing you.
My pleasure, sir. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.